It is Wednesday morning and I'm headed into the office. I got around 8 hours of sleep last night and I feel great. Normally I don't need that much sleep, so I don't know if I'm catching up or what's going on there. Gloomy morning, beautiful afternoons. I love riding bicycles so much. Going on a trip on my favorite rocket ship. So I have an idea that I think is going to be essential to the next generation, the next evolution of self-driving cars. It's something that I'm sure other people are thinking about, but I don't think they realize the importance because nobody's prioritizing this. No one has added this in cars today. So the general idea I call smell trails. This idea of a smell trail comes from studying ants and other insects, where as the ants are navigating around, for example, let's say that there's some food here and their home is here, as they're all navigating around, as soon as an ant finds food, they're able to follow the trail back home. And let's say there's a big obstacle in the way. What will happen is the ants, every time they find food, they'll leave a trail behind that the other ants will follow to the food. And so this is actually a self-optimizing path, right? It's going to find the shortest distance just over time, because the curves are going to get kind of less and less curved, and the path's going to try and get as straight as possible while still going around the obstacle course. And where this comes into play with self-driving cars is the fact that every day we have thousands and thousands and millions of cars all across the world driving on streets, whether that being driven manually by hand, by humans still engaged in the process of driving, or automatically by using systems like autopilot and lane detection and all these things. But what's happening is we're training the models, we're training the autopilot and the automated systems to recognize every environment as if it was a novel one. But most environments aren't novel, right? We drive down the same street thousands of times every day when you consider the aggregate knowledge of the group. And so what I want us to do is I want us to think about how can we take all of the data that each car is discovering, such as the angle it takes while crossing between a lane and the corresponding lane on the other side of an intersection where there's no markings, right? If we could figure out what those angles are and just say, hey, here's the range, here's the distribution of angles that have been taken before, and here's their success rates, here's some sort of heuristic around measurements, we can figure out, okay, here's the right way that this car should be reacting in this sort of situation. I think this is going to be far more powerful than any sort of machine learning can be, because it can take into account all of the aggregate human knowledge that we already have around the roads and the intersections that we travel. And so we need to be sharing more of the data across the vehicles. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to adapt, right? We're not going to be able to understand what's going on. If there's a tree that falls down in the middle of the road while I'm driving my Tesla and it's in full self-driving mode, it might not know how to get around that tree. But if another driver 2 minutes ago had to manually drive around it, we should be able to learn from that. We should be able to take that data and act on it, in addition to and complementing all of the auto recognizers and the machine learning that we're building into these systems.